We are back. Now, very often nowadays, if anybody has been in the entertainment business 5 years, they say, you know, here's a star. But I think a star is really determined by how long you've been around and where you are held in esteem by your peers. And Bette Davis is probably one of the most respected, admired actresses and indestructible of all of them. She's had 2 Oscars, 10 nominations, numerous awards. She recently received the Legion of Honor Medal and the César Award from France. Would you welcome, please, Miss Bette Davis.
I know maybe you thought I was standing too long, enjoying it too much, but I wish to stand up again. May I?
Oh, you sure may. You want to show that?
No. Are you saying to yourself, I'm a little overdressed?
I think it's beautiful.
Yes, well, I'll tell you why. This is the dress that Nolan Miller made for me for my trip to Paris for all the awards. It was announced in some of the gossip columns here in Hollywood that I had a red dress. One columnist knew it was made by Nolan. Thought he should have mentioned it. So I want to give Nolan, because I want to tell you that night in Paris, well, we're becoming the fashion capital of the world, let me tell you. And Nolan's dress rocked them in Paris. And it was particularly fun because they had a lot of clips from a documentary from England. And there was Jezebel in the red dress. And then when the film was over,
you walked out.
It just happened I had a red dress.
Just
so that
happened
was great
like that.
fun. So anyway, Nolan, thank you for my beautiful dress.
Well, it is
Thank
gorgeous.
you. I should say, I really,
Only you could
I
make
really
that so
shouldn't
dramatic.
I really shouldn't say thank you, Nolan. It cost a hell of a lot
Really?
of money.
Yo, this is
As
something.
it well should have. Nolan Miller, no.
It's not going to cost you anything after a while.
20 years ago, Nolan Miller, out of designing school, came to Hollywood, hired by Aaron Spelling.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing a pilot 20 years ago, Aaron and I, and it was very amazing that many years later that Nolan and Aaron and I were doing the hotel pilot. I was the first person he was to dress. And, of course, all those awful rumors about me, he was absolutely panicked. But he made the most beautiful clothes, so that was the beginning.
What awful rumors about you?
What?
What awful rumors about you?
Oh, my dear, that when I did Eve, Mr. Mankiewicz was telephoned by 10, 12, or 15 directors and said, my dear, you're insane. Just prepare yourself. She will walk on the set with a yellow pad and a pencil, and there won't be one line of yours left. He said, but there was one person who said differently, and I said, who was that? And he said, Willie Wyler said, you will have a ball directing her. The others, unfortunately, I had to do that with. There was no other way. Now, there wasn't if I was to remain in films. Now, being the modest person I am, and we're talking about Paris and all.
Right. You bought me a gift.
No.
Oh.
No. I wanted to show you.
Was this the
This gorgeous
César?
government
Hold it up.
medal that was given to me. I think it's just
Isn't
beautiful.
that lovely? Hold it up.
Now,
We're gonna
aren't
get
you
closer.
going to ask why the French would decorate me?
Well, I can imagine they decorated for it because they admire and respect your ability for an
Oh,
artist.
Johnny, you weren't my straight man at all.
Oh.
Well,
You know Jerry Lewis personally. That's why they
I
decorated
suppose
you.
by now you're wondering if you're going to get a chance. Wondering right now if you're going to get a chance to say anything. I will shut up in a minute.
Don't tell me you got your own show,
maybe
too.
Tonight. I thought maybe tonight I would kind of let you sort of see if you thought I could do it.
Yeah. Well, you can do it. All right.
Well,
Sure.
during the evening, you keep on thinking.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of auditioning for Joan's part. In case you had done what I hoped you would,
Yes.
to say, why would the French government
I'll play straight.
give
Why
you
would
an award?
Why would the French government give you an award?
In case you did ask me, I wrote down from the scroll that came with this.
All right.
And this is what I am. I am un commander. Commander de l'ordre of the order.
Of the order.
Des arts.
The artists.
Oui. Oh, you speak French, marvelous. Des lettres. And it was presented to me by the Minister of Culture. I will not pretend it was not a very thrilling moment in my life to have another country give me an award.
I think that's very nice.
Now,
We're going to do this first? We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break.
You may have your show back.
We'll just take a break and we'll come right back. Hello, a cigarette? A cigarette, boo-boo?
Ah, merci. What kind is it?
I don't know. Famous scene from Now
Yeah.
Voyager,
Paul
right?
Henry
With Paul
thought of that
Henry
himself.
lighting the two cigarettes.
That was an example of one of the directors that called up Mankiewicz. The one that directed Voyager, he never thought of the two cigarettes, I'd like to announce right now. Or anything else, I might tell you.
Isn't therapy wonderful, though?
Just recently at a big... See, I have not shut up yet, have
That's
I?
all right.
So at this huge festival for me for 3 weeks in New York, he was one of the speakers. I wish to God I could have been in the audience to hear what he had to say.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to get a report about it. I haven't succeeded yet.
It'll be coming in. I'm going to
He came to see a play of mine. He came to see me and Miss Moffat in Philadelphia and came backstage, and I was so amazed and horrified. He said, well, I didn't let you know because you might have been too nervous with me in the audience. Oh, God.
Say, what was the... Did you actually sit and pick a Peter, right?
No.
That was never said.
No. But I...
All the impressionists always used to do, you can go, Peter.
Well, that was started by Arthur Blake, who was the original great
That's right.
one. He's the one that did the arm, and I was horrified to realize later I did this elbow thing a lot. Yes, yeah, he showed me that, but he's the one that said Peter. His impersonation of Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt knitting at a Girl Scout rally was absolutely the most sensational thing.
He was one of the great impressionists of all time.
From here it came,
Yeah.
not just all the outward thing.
Yeah.
Right.
What is this? I'm going to show audience a picture. You can look at it on the monitor. And what do you remember? It says, this was a picture put out by, it says, charming Bette Davis, Universal featured player. Did you hate to, then they...
What?
Yeah. Little publicity stills. Did you...
Why didn't somebody unearth that earlier? They could have done me great harm. My God, I didn't remember.
Did you hate taking pictures like that?
Well, I never did. That's why I'm really amazed at that. You sure that? Let me see that.
What do you mean?
You sure?
That's you. It says
Yeah,
charming.
I'm afraid you're right.
Yes.
Yeah. I did one set of bathing suit pictures with Joan Blondell once, and then once I rode on top of a balloon or something for some kind of thing, but I never did these.
You never did that.
No, and I was very, very glad they couldn't haul them out later.
Yeah?
But I'm terribly glad I didn't do nudes. Oh, God, imagine
Really?
those being hauled out later.
Would they have asked you in those days to do nudes?
No, they wouldn't have asked anybody, nor would they have gotten anybody.
Yeah.
No.
Nowadays it seems to be rather common.
Absolutely. It's just, it's a must if a man and woman look at each other.
Yeah.
That same evening, yes, I just finished a film. I didn't realize that scene was in the film until I saw it the other night. Yes, same thing. Clothes come off delicately.
Yes.
Of course, you know exactly what they look like underneath. I don't know why they're so modest.
Yeah. So you don't think they should just do a nude scene just to do it?
Oh, of course, you don't either. No, I think it's awful.
No, yeah.
I don't think it's very interesting to many people to be very serious.
Did you ever do a bubble bath scene? Didn't that ever come up?
No, I never was asked to get into a bathtub.
Yeah?
Interestingly enough, I am going to make a film not too long from now in Hamburg, Germany, and there is a scene in which I get into a bathtub.
Aha.
Not nude.
Oh, come on.
God forbid, at my age and hacked up as I am, I do not wish to be nude. But I read that and I thought, my God, this is the end.
Okay. Now, Peter never happened. Arthur Blake
No,
did
no,
that.
Peter
How
never.
about the line, what a dump?
Well, that is in Beyond the Forest.
Right.
And I make very, very little of it. I just say, what a dump. And Edward Albee, of course, he put that on the map, that line.
Right.
Right. And he gave me a great thing when I do my Bette Davis show all over the world, film and on the stage. That's how I start out every show.
You just walk out
And it's wonderful. Sit down and just look around and say, what a dump.
That's a good opening.
But you know, sometimes it was very embarrassing when the theater was. And you felt very badly when it was beautiful. But it was I tell you what was great about it. They knew from then on they could have fun with me.
Right.
And they didn't have to sort of respect this old legend.
Yeah.
They could really have fun. And we had fun.
But you were nominated, you got 2 Oscars, you were nominated for 10 others. Is there a picture that you thought maybe you should have won that you didn't?
Yes, 3.
Okay.
I lost out to Doc Victory because that was the great Gone with the Wind year. And I was gone with the wind. And I feel that I should have had the Oscar for Margot Channing.
Oh, yes.
Unfortunately, I was not under contract with Fox. Miss Baxter was. So, as the studios always used to do, they'd send notes around if it was their people and say,
Ann
please.
Baxter, Marilyn
please
Monroe,
vote at,
George
yes,
Sanders.
This is right.
Yeah.
So, I think I lost by some votes that I would not have lost by if Fox hadn't done that.
Yeah.
So I was so, but the last one, I was definitely robbed of. Miss Crawford went to New York and said to all the nominees on the stage who might not be able to get to Hollywood, I will accept your Oscar for you. And she paced New York to find people that not vote for me. Because I think I lost by a very few votes for Jane. That was really a shock.
Whatever happened to Baby Jane?
Yeah. But there she stood. There Joan stood with Miss Bancroft's Oscar clutched to her bosom. It had become hers. Yes, it had become hers. She also traveled with it for 1 year. No, 1 year with Pepsi-Cola. And she told Miss Bancroft that she would bathe this Oscar in all the waters of the world. So she got back to New York. Miss Bancroft is still doing Mother Courage. Gave a party on the stage of Mother Courage after a performance one night.
Right.
And gave the Oscar to Miss Bancroft. Finally, she got it.
She had it for a year. Well, you got a lot of good
Worth waiting for.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
What picture did you make that you thought was a total disaster?
Total disaster. I loathed Beyond the Forest.
Really?
Yes, I was not young enough to play that girl. You felt that when I played that girl, I would have gotten to Chicago years ago. Absolutely, years ago. And
Did you-
the tragedy was that Joseph Cotton was the husband, and who in the world wants to leave Joseph Cotton?
Yeah.
In the book, it was a great book, interestingly enough.
Right.
And Eugene Pallette was perfect casting for this awful.
Eugene Pallette, who talk like this.
Yeah, that awful husband. So I begged not to play it, and that was the last picture I made for Warner's.
Did you fall in love with any of your leading men?
I was more apt to fall in love with directors. I think it had a lot to do with I liked a male who kind of took charge of me and told me what to do, and it's very hard for me to find that.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would think I needed that, but I did.
You wanted a domineering, strong personality.
Yeah, I did.
We're going to cut away, but we're coming back. Stay where you are. We're back talking with Miss Bette Davis. Okay. Another picture here. Another picture. It says, with your mother at a movie premiere in 1931. A strong influence in your life? Your mother?
Mother was why I'm sitting here. Not from the stage mother standpoint, but from the earning enough money that I could study in a dramatic school and doing all those years for me at great sacrifice. But that is our first premiere, dressed rather oddly, you would say.
Oh, I didn't notice.
And in my book, it's an old kind of thing, and Mother's kind of odd. And we hadn't learned to look like Hollywood yet. We were very Yankee still. And I have a strip of pictures in my book, The Lonely Life. That's the first one. Then there's the second one. The third one is at the premiere of All About Eve. And I have written, and by now we really look rather sharp. And under it I have written Pilgrim's Progress.
Okay, here's another picture. Dark Victory, 1939, and the gentleman, of course, is Ronald Reagan.
Yes.
What's your memory about this?
Well, I can't quite get over still referring to him. And I was delighted to hear that you've not been invited to the White House. Neither have I.
Well, actually, I have been invited.
You have been invited by the Reagans?
Invited, yes.
Well, I have not.
Ooh.
Well, that's good. He's sort of, yes. But we always referred to him as Little Ronnie Reagan. He did give one good performance, King's Row.
King's Row?
We will hand that.
I think that
but
was...
But, you know, take a man's leg off, it's a lot going for you in those scenes.
That's true.
Yeah, a lot going for you in those scenes.
A lot of sympathy.
But I have to say, I think he is infinitely better than I ever thought he would be. Infinitely. I think he shows quite a lot of guts upon occasion. Mm-hmm. He has had some rather serious things to decide.
Yes, he has.
Yes.
Well, good.
But I just hope he doesn't encourage a lot of other actors. I think we shouldn't take over that field at
all. You're having a lot of fun tonight, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes, I am. I'm very surprised. No. Nothing to do with appearing with John Carson.
Oh,
I'm surprised that I am. I haven't done a great deal of this lately.
I know you haven't.
I'm taking to it like a duck takes the water again.
Delighted you're
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Did you ever get the old question?
And I may be back. You may have to have me again.
Okay, that's all right with me.
Yes. I may be back with a book.
Yeah.
You're going to have to take me on.
You writing another book? Mm-hmm. You got another book in here? Are you writing another book?
For years we've been doing this book.
Yeah.
So I may be back. The publisher wants me to. He feels you're of great value to the sales. I quite agree.
Oh, well, then you can come here.
Well, you have helped a lot of books in your life.
Well, you can come here anytime.
And other things.
Those...
What other products do you think you've helped besides books?
Wives. No.
Oh, yes.
You...
Well, of course, you and I must never get on that subject.
No, we shouldn't.
Since
really should.
I paid alimony for 3 years to Beatty's father.
Did you really?
Yes, it's kind of a reverse twist, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's how desperately I wanted to get rid of him. say that he was enjoying our way of life, which he did not want to give that up. No. Poor
Well,
man.
Very generous.
Poor
of you.
man. Mm-hmm.
Would you change anything in your life if you had to do it all over again?
To be very serious,
Well, if you want to be. Yeah.
I only wish I had been brought up on the present morale system.
Really?
That it was accepted that maybe you lived with somebody before you married them.
That's
My
right.
upbringing was that's why you married and you waited until then. And on a Dick Cavett show, which is a rather famous show with some people, he asked when I gave up my virginity. It was a rather shock to me sitting there.
Yes.
I counted 10, and then I thought, come on. I said, when I married my first husband. And then I waited a minute, and I said, it was hell waiting.
Yeah. But nowadays, people...
Right. And I think it's very possible I might not have married some of the people I married. I think I would have married Gary.
Yeah.
I think I definitely would have married Gary. We had a great, great deal in common.
You're talking about Gary?
Merrill, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely would have.
Yeah.
Yes, I was very much in love with Gary.
Okay.
And I flatter myself he rather liked me, too.
Did you ever go out to a party some night and get real silly and have too much to drink and do something really dumb?
No, I would be... there's too much of that strict Yankee upbringing.
Wouldn't allow you
to do that. It wouldn't allow me to do that.
Yeah.
No, couldn't do that. Anyway, wouldn't like to be drunk and be... You're out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
Do you always want to be in control?
Well, there have been about 2 times in my life that I have had too much to drink. I knew that. And wasn't next day quite sure what I did. Mm-hmm. And I never dared to ask.
Yeah.
I never dared to ask.
Better that way sometimes.
Yes, better that way. It's awful for people to tell you how you behave.
Yeah, when you found out you've swung the neighbor's cat through the plate glass window, something like that, it could ruin your whole day.
Terrible like that.
Yeah. We're going to cut away for a second. We're coming back. I have known Johnny Winters for about 17 years, and I have never ceased to be amazed at his talent. He's genuinely a funny, funny man. And he has his own television show syndicated around the country. And on April 6th, he will be up at the Sahara Tahoe. Would you welcome, please, Jonathan Winters. Hello, John.
Oh, gosh.
Pretty thrilling, huh?
Well, it is. I wore my new sweater. New for me. It was in a fire sale, and I grabbed it up. I'm not proud. A lot of my things are used. The shoes I bought those in the same sale. Not ashamed of that.
No.
It was a fire sale, and that's about all there is to that.
I gotta tell him what you did to me. You may not even remember this. Remember when Jack Parr was doing the old CBS morning show?
Right.
I think that's the first time you were really ever appeared on television, about 1955, 56. And we did it out at Grand Central Station. And we did 2 shows, one at 7 o'clock, which played in the East. And then at 8 o'clock, the Midwest and West would join the network. And then you had to go back and repeat the first hour of the show live for the West Coast again. And I'd met you the first time then. And I was back there filling in for Robert Q. Lewis on a daytime show. And you called me at a hotel once. You won't remember this at all.
There are a lot of things.
But I remember. I know there are many things you have done.
I don't remember.
That are a little dim.
My mind has failed me a number of times.
But on this particular thing, I was staying at a little cheap hotel back there. A real cheap hotel.
Yeah, that's right.
And I got this call one day, and it was from you, although I didn't know it at the time. And I was just finishing up the show. I said, Johnny Carson? I said, yes. He says, Mr. Weldon, I'm with J. Walter Thompson advertising agency in here in New York. My ears, just the whole scalp went up. And he says, we are doing some commercials for the Buick Company. I remember it so well. And he says, we'd like you to be our spokesman. And, of course, there's $2,000 in it and a new Buick. And right then, $1 would have been, didn't have any money. And I knew that you knew that I had to go back to California. I had to come back and do a show I was doing, and I wouldn't be there. So I started to do, little disclaimers like, I'd love to do it, Mr. Weldon. And then you started getting nasty. Just a little bit. Well, what do you mean you can't do it? That's the trouble with you California guys. You come into town, give you a job, you don't want to stay. And then you got really angry. And I'm practically dying. And I could have killed you at that time. But then he said, that's Johnny Winters. And I could see the Buick just flying away. And I'd already spent the $2,000 on the house driving the car. You did little cutie things, didn't you?
Well, I still call guys up, and I still answer the phone as different people. I love to do that. One of my favorite stories, I love to, maybe, be an old person, and someone will say, hello, is Jonathan Winters there? And I'll say, no, the boy is in the basement. He's combing the kitty. Say, well, who's this? Well, I'm just an old man who wanders around his house. And a lot of times you get odd reactions from people. But one of my favorite stories was, I've told it before, but it is a fun story. Several years ago, a number of years ago, I'd gone back to Ohio to see my mother and my stepfather and several relatives. And it was at Christmas time, and all of us were feeling no pain. My stepmother, my stepfather was certainly in rare form. And my mother had had a few, and I'd had several. And,
drink of your choice.
Yes. A little touch of the grape. And like many people who imbibe in drinks, you get telephonitis and want to call the world. And so I wanted to call a friend of mine, and his name was Art Lytle, and he and I had gone to school together, and he was a funeral director. And so I called him, and I assumed a character, and I knew that he hadn't seen me or heard my voice in a long, long time. So I knew I was home free. And I called him up, and he owned still does to this day, the Jackson Lytle Funeral Home in Springfield. And so I said, is Mr. Arthur Lytle Jr. there? And he said, yes, speaking. And I said, is this Arthur Lytle Jr.? He said, yes. I said, well, this is Elwood P. Suggins, and I live out on the Lakewood Beach area. And my brother passed away here Sunday week, and I was wondering if you could do a job on it. And there was a long pause. And he said, how long did you say he'd been dead? I said, well, he passed away here Sunday week. And he said, good Lord, man, where have you got him? And I said, well, most of our people are from Boise, and I didn't want them to have him come that far just to look at grass, So what we did, we put him out there on the porch and set him up against the lattice. And cold spell set in, just kept him harder than a cart. However, the other day, sun come out, and he commenced to get fleshy. And his face dropped a little bit, and but I tell you, Mr. Lytle, even in death, there's humor. My eldest boy, Lamar Jean, twisted the deceased hand around and put a softball in it. Well, Lytle lit into me. He said, good heavens, I've never heard anything like this. So then I broke in. I said, well, it's Johnny Winters, and he said a few things. Those are some of the little things that I...
What is the wildest thing you've ever done?
The wildest thing?
Yeah, that you remember. No, the reason I can say that is because we know each other.
Yes.
We have spent some evenings together.
Oh, a number of good evenings.
When we had been talking to
Yes.
bushes at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I remember.
I guess, I'm trying to think the wildest thing I ever did. Well, I remember one story very well. I was sitting, this was back east. I was back in New York. You were talking about an advertising agency. Made me think about this. And telephone rang, and I went to the telephone, and I decided I would become a character, as I just mentioned. And a man said, hello, is Jonathan Winters there? And I said, that little funky man's on a little tractor, and he's out in the backyard cutting some grass. And so he said, who's this? And I said, this is Sam. Who are you? And he said, well, this is Mr. Cavendish, and I'm with Ben and Bowles or something. And I'd like to talk to Mr. Winters. He said, you mean Johnny? Let me see if I can find Roundo. So, gee, you're going to see this guy at the other end of the phone. So I then shifted my voice. I said, hey, Roundo, come on in. There's a phone call for you. Get on it. So I said, hello, this is Jonathan Winters. And then the guy at the other end said, who was that I was talking to? I said, I'm on the phone, too. It's fun to do these little voices.
Yes.
Upset a few people.
Here's Ed to tell you about a great new opportunity to try one of the most remarkable vacuum cleaners ever made. We're back. My guests tonight are Joan Rivers, Judy Collins, and Johnny Winters. Your syndicated show has been renewed, I hear, and you're going to do something else on CBS?
Yeah,
We can mention that.
I hope we can.
Of course.
Because the networks, they can stand that, I think. I always know there's a little friction, between the three, but what the heck, they're all making a lot of bread. I start doing my little show. It's a half hour, and it will start on CBS here in Los Angeles, 7:30 to 8, around the middle of April. I don't have the exact date. I hope it'll be around the middle of April. That's what they promised me that. And then I'm going back east to New York on Monday, and it'll be back there. It's already in Philadelphia, in your hometown, Big Ed.
Yes.
And I was discharged, in Philadelphia.
Very good.
Yeah.
Fellow Marine.
Fellow Marine.
That's right, you were
I was
in
a
the Marines.
corporal. He was a colonel.
Yes, that's right. I remember.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of difference here. Rarely do you guys mingle with the enlisted guys, right? Hi, kid. Oh, well.
You didn't like the service, if I remember. We sat around talking about that several nights.
No, I got along fairly well in the service.
No.
I was always disturbed because I didn't know where I was. And unless you're an officer, you see, you're not clued in. And you're not given the top papers, which I felt I should have had at least 1 or 2 papers. And I kept asking questions, which is always trouble. Running up to a captain, or a colonel like yourself and saying, where are we, sir? None of your business. Move out. And I was always moving out. I was frightened a great deal of the time. I was frightened of the guys. I didn't understand a lot of them. They didn't understand me. I was kidding all the time, I'd be in grandma 1 minute. And, hi, honey,
That would,
a lot of guys didn't understand.
That would shake up a barracks late
And
at night.
I turned,
yes.
I'll never forget, to a bird colonel, and did a voice on him, which I'll never forget. And I said, oh, sir, what is your name?
Little sense of humor.
Don't do that in the Marines very often. So I was misunderstood a great deal of time. But I got out eventually. I knew I would. I had good feelings about that. And I got out. I spent 2.5 years, and then I wandered around aimlessly, looking for odd jobs. And being odd, I found a lot of odd work.
We were talking about the first thing people ever remember. Judy remembers at 2 years old, or 3 and 4. Do you remember back that early when you were a kid? To 3 and 4
Back
years?
to one.
To one?
I remember the beads on the ankle. Oh, remember the blue beads and the nurse putting them on it? No, that's pretty far back. No, I remember. I'd have to go along with the girls. I remember back about 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 3 or 4. And I was an only child, as you know, Johnny.
Yes,
but,
sir.
I didn't have any brothers or sisters, and that
Was it lonesome?
It was for a while. It was for a while, and then I realized that any goodies that would be handed over to me. But no, I was an unusual child. You know, you can imagine.
Yes.
I was frightening old people a lot, you know, scaring them on the porch or something like that. And doing in class, I was a slow student. I was dumb.
That's what they used to call him. He's slow.
Teachers, yeah, the teachers would say the boy's slow. But I was, you can imagine, the little girl next to me, somebody like yourself, I go, and the girl would laugh and then point at me and say, Johnny Winter's doing things, Johnny Winter's doing things. And I'd run out and jump through the window or something. But no, I was not a very good student. I had very poor concentration. And I was scared to death of the blackboard. There was something about to me, nothing today scares me like when the teacher would say, I remember we had Miss Metzger, who was a very unusual woman. I don't want to go into a long story. She was tough and could have made a sergeant easily. And I was frightened of her, and she knew that, and she took advantage of that, I felt. And she would say, John Winters, talk like a man to me a lot. That's unfair, but she sounded sometimes like very, very strong. And she said, go to the board. And I said, yes, Miss Metzger, I'll go to the board. And it was always turning to a student. And because I never knew where I was never prepared. And give me the answer, quick. And I'll never forget, there was a guy called Alden Sonander. There's a name.
Alden Sonander.
Alden Sonander turned to me and he said, we learn by doing. And, I killed him at recess.
We learn by doing.
Learn by
There's always
doing.
one of those.
There's always one of those guys. Yes. And bless his heart, he was a very bright student. He was the brightest guy in our class. I always remember that. He was pages and pages ahead of everybody. And I was pages and pages behind everybody. Many days, I remember, it seemed like I was sick a great deal of the time because I wanted to be. And on warm, sunny days, I always had a cold. And Mother, I shouldn't go. And she'd grab me like this, you know, and place me on the bicycle. Ow. And, right to school. A lot of times I roller skated. That was fun. Remember roller skating?
Sure.
Yeah. Roller skated and rode the bicycle. Walked, ran.
Happy childhood, though.
Happy.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Fairly happy.
Yeah.
I was broke a lot of, you know. That's not fun when you're broke all the time.
That's right.
But I would lay for people in bushes and...
What were some of the jobs you did before you got into...
Some of the jobs I did?
Yeah, before you started... Started getting into show business.
Oh, some of the jobs I did? I worked in a theater. I was an usher in a theater.
So was I once, yeah.
Before I even got out of high school, I was an usher.
That's what I did.
And I worked in a place called the, I'm trying to think of the bar. Well, anyway, I remember it was a circular stage. And I was going around on that thing and doing little funnies, and I got something like $25 for the weekend and all I could drink and eat. And then I went into the service when I was 17, came out, and then I did a lot of things. One thing I always remember, I worked for the Coca-Cola bottling company. I was an inspector. And looking for dead mice and marbles. I sat on a little stool, you know, with the neon light, and did this, and just watched bottles all day long. And then I picked apricots and picked potatoes, shucked corn. You probably did that in Nebraska.
Sure.
And I worked. I was a fry cook in the Yellowstone.
Yellowstone Park?
Oh yeah, in the Yellowstone National Park. and worked 9 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning, cooking steaks and hamburgers and just little short order things.
You've done a lot of things.
For the what do they call them? I can never remember the guys. Park attendants.
Rangers.
Yes. Yeah. That kept people from the bears and things. But I did a lot of cooking. I think most of us have done odd,
Weird things.
unusual jobs.
We have to do something here?
What are you doing here now?
Well, we're going to sell a little something.
Oh, good.
And then Dr. Stillman will come out and...
Dr. Stillman will come out and help us.
So we can use it. Here we are back at the show.
This crowd is
Just
kind of a wait and
just
see
feel
group.
it. Yeah, just feel it
I want to
out.
see if anybody else is going to applaud. Then they'll go.
I pronounced one of our guests, the young gentleman from England, who is quite a singer. Very exciting that you will see tonight. His name is Gordino. I said Giordino. It's Peter Gordino.
Gordino.
He has 4 lovely young girls with him tonight that are going to dance.
Yeah.
Nice production number here tonight.
I saw one in makeup. A comely lassie, blonde of coif, rather clever of figure as well.
Oh, yes. Doc's going to be appearing this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Like you didn't know. Up at Magic Mountain.
Yeah.
With the Now Generation Brass and Today's Children, the whole show. That he has successfully taken around the country and made a bundle with.
I'd like to mention that I'm going to be playing at Buffalo.
What?
It'd be nice if you'd mention I'm going to be at Melody Fair in Buffalo this weekend with my act.
You be in
Melody Fair in Buffalo.
New York?
Buffalo, New York. Yes, they haven't moved it, have they?
No, Buffalo. You're going to...
What are you going to be doing this weekend?
Well, now that you bring it up, I open in Las Vegas Saturday night.
Well,
Did you
there
know that?
are. We can mention all
I
that.
do. Freddie DeCordova will be back here.
Right.
No, we open for 2 weeks at the Sahara Hotel Saturday night. You're going to be in Buffalo, Doc. It's nice, everybody.
Nice to know we're all working.
Did you just see the Patsy Awards last night?
No.
They have a show, I guess it's televised nationally, called the Patsy Awards every year, where they give awards to outstanding animals, which strikes me kind of funny. I don't know why. That have been in motion pictures or, I guess, television the past year. And tragedy struck last night. I don't know whether you knew it right afterwards. Well, Ben the Rat won. Did you know that? Ben the Rat won an award.
Whoa.
And before he could accept, Morris the cat ate him. And then Morris was chased up a tree by a dog by the name of Farouk, that also won it. The whole thing was a shambles. Betty White and Alan Ludden cried for a couple of days and just dissolved on them. Billy Graham, I like to count as a good friend. He certainly needs no laborious introduction. For the past, I guess, almost 2 decades, he has brought guidance and comfort to many, many millions of people of all faiths. Would you welcome, please, evangelist, author, educator, Dr. Billy Graham.
Well, that was quite a monologue, and I appreciated one thing about it. You've been reading the Bible, I see. You knew about the commandments.
Yes, I know. I would sound awful, but if you ask me to name all 10 of them right now, and this probably sounds terrible, I would probably leave one out somewhere.
Oh, I think you could think of all of them.
Yeah,
Because all of us have broken all of them. So I think we could figure them out.
Do you think everybody...
Everybody has broken every commandment. Yes, sir. The Bible says if we break in one point, we're guilty of all.
Oh, I see.
And then when Jesus came after Moses, he explained that the 10 commandments can be broken in your heart by thought and intent. So in that sense, we're all guilty, and that's the reason the Bible says that everybody's a sinner. Even Ed is a sinner.
Well, that's...
Comes as quite a surprise.
They could add, if there had been room on the tablets, they'd have put 4 more commandments on for him. Are you able to quote? I'm sure you are. I know some people who have memorized the entire Bible. I'm sure you have.
No, I have not.
Run across people that can do
I have
that.
memorized parts of it, but I met a man in Africa, an African in Nigeria, about 15 years ago, that had memorized the entire New Testament in 2 languages, English and his native language.
Well, that is incredible.
And I have met a number of people, not in America, but I've met a number of people in foreign countries that have memorized the entire Bible. I met several in Korea last week that had memorized the entire New Testament.
That's incredible. That
It is
requires
incredible.
some kind of almost special
And there are,
memory.
you know, and yet it's not so much because there are less words in the New Testament than in the average Sunday edition of the New York Times. And you know, many people read the New York Times through every week.
I
Well,
hear
you could
people that
you
do.
could read the New Testament through every week if you wanted to.
I didn't realize that. Do you like what they have done? Do you like the modern interpretations of the Bible? And I read that they're working on a now more or less an updated version of the King James.
Yes, there are a number of, in fact, there's about one version, I'm told, a week coming out.
Right. Some biblical
In various
scholars seem
parts
to
of the
feel
world.
that it loses, I guess, something in the modernization.
Well, it does in some areas, but in others it makes it clearer because you see, when Jesus and the other people in the Bible were speaking, they spoke the language of the people. We no longer speak that King James Version language, Elizabethan English. And many people don't understand the Bible just because they don't understand that language. It's no longer the language that America speaks, no longer the language that Britain speaks. I have people in areas where I come from, in North Carolina, up in the mountains, that some of them still speak Elizabethan English.
Is that true?
And some of those old hillbilly songs that we have are really from the old Scottish songs of 200 years ago.
You just mentioned Korea a moment ago. You've just been overseas and in Korea, and I understand the crowds were the largest you've practically ever played to in your life.
Well, they are probably the largest that anybody has ever spoken to in history, because the smallest crowd we had was 500,000. And the largest crowd was last Sunday afternoon. We had 1,100,000 in one service. And that was so incredible that I could hardly take it in.
Now, you're not talking about television, are you?
No.
Really? I mean, an actual mass of
crowd.
people.
We had 7 cameras on it. We have pictures of it, and it will be on television soon.
Well, we have some film excerpts, I think, of this crusade that you've made overseas. That is incredible. It's got to be a overwhelming feeling to
Well, a
stand up in front of a
historian
crowd
told
that
me
large.
the other day that the nearest that he knows in history was Dwight Eisenhower when he went to India in, I forgot what year, I think it was 55, and had about 800,000 that he spoke to at one time. But this crowd was electronically counted, and the organizers that counted it had a very ingenious way in which they counted. And so I would say it was fairly accurate. It might have been under or over. Some people thought it was over, some under, but it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 million people.
That's incredible. Can we show some of these? We have a short film clip here. I believe this was shot in Seoul, Korea.
Seoul, Korea, that's correct.
And
I haven't seen this film.
Billy, you can comment on it.
That is our arrival at the airport. My wife and I are arriving at the Seoul airport about 2 weeks ago. And that is my wife. And they came out with all their flags, and a choir sang. They
Was
had
this your
government
first,
officials. No, I was in Korea during the war, the
Right.
Korean War, about 22 years ago, and spoke to people. Now, these are people here that when all-night prayer meetings, they stayed up all night to pray, and every church in Korea has a prayer meeting at 4:30 in the morning. And the Korean church is growing. Now, there's my wife and me in the plaza, which is 1 mile long, a paved strip, 1 mile long and about 1/4 mile wide. And we're talking on the day before the meetings begin. That's where the people are going to come, and they've marked it off so they can count the people. You
I
see,
see,
each
that's
area there seats 4,000 in each square. And they marked it off so they count. Now, this is the last day where the
Good
million
heavens.
people, now it fades into the background, the millions. They're in an airplane taking this quite some
I can
distance
see the
up.
crowd right in the middle.
And these are the people gathering. They started gathering several hours early, and in fact, many people were there all night. Thousands were there all night, spending the night so they could get a front seat. And they sat so close together. These
Look
are
at
the people still
mass of
coming together.
humanity.
And it was a fantastic sight for us. I had never seen so many people together anywhere, of course, in the world, and it was very much like talking on radio, because the people couldn't see me, and all I could see was a mass of faces, and that goes on for 1 mile in each direction.
Is that the interpreter now?
That is the
I see.
interpreter. I say a phrase, and he says a phrase. I say God is love, he said God is love. I say God is great, he says God is great. And we go 1, 2, 1, 2, that quick. And he is very fast and very good. And the people listened, and they responded, And as I said, the church in Korea is growing 4 times faster than the population. Now there I am leaving by helicopter, and they are waving goodbye to me with their programs.
Look at that.
1 million people saying goodbye to us.
That
It
is
was a very moving
incredible
sight.
scene. That's an incredible scene.
There's a great religious revival on all through the Far East. And
That's interesting.
as a matter of fact, I think the center and the gravitational center of Christianity is shifting now to the Far East.
Mm-hmm.
And this is happening in areas in Japan, in Thailand, in the Philippines, in Indonesia, more in Indonesia than any other country.
How do you account for that?
Well, Christianity began in the Middle East. It went to North Africa,
Right.
then it went to Europe, then it shifted to America in the last century, and now it's moving to the Far East where it's never had much of a grip.
Well, they say history runs in cycles, and they're like all major countries have their particular decade or
That's right.
generation, and it revolves in kind of a historical cycle.
Well, my wife was born and reared in China.
That's what I heard.
And she had never been back to the Far East since then, since she was 17. And it was a very moving experience for her. She went to school in Korea, up in the North Korea, in Pyongyang. And it was a tremendous thing to see those people and the dedication and the discipline. They study. They get up early in the morning to pray. There are 1,500 Protestant churches in Seoul alone. And it's unbelievable what's happened in the last 5 years.
It was an incredible film. Let me interrupt for a second. Forgive me, but we will be right back after this word. Welcome back. We're talking with Dr. Billy Graham. I always look forward to your visits on our show because I feel I can ask you questions, personal questions, which I'm sure a lot of people would ask around the country, and I always try to project myself and what you must be asked as you travel around. Do you ever think about death at all? I mean, does any fear of it? You read about so many people nowadays that seem to be so uptight about it, and I saw a program the other night about it where doctors were trying to prepare. Doctors had no preparation in how to treat patients that were, for example, terminal, and they found that people went through various stages about death. But I wonder, as a healthy man, we all think about it occasionally, but I wonder if you ever think of it and have any fear of it.
I think we think about it a great deal, Johnny, more than we admit, because the University of Louisville did a study some time ago of university and college young people, and the number one subject that they think about between the ages of 18 and 22 is sex. And I believe it was about every 3 to 5 minutes they think about sex. And then the second
Time
subject,
interval has broadened out since I was in school.
the second subject that they think about most is death. And that comes about every 4 to 5 minutes. A person at that age level thinks about death.
That's incredible.
And the suicide rate, for example, among students, as you know, is very high
highest.
throughout the world, in Japan or in Sweden or in the United States, all over the world. And young people do think about death, as well as older people. And it's going to happen to all of us, and yet we hate to face it. And I think that the subject of death has been suppressed in our generation, very much like sex was in the 19th century, the discussion of it. We buried it. We made out like it didn't exist.
Well, I got in some trouble a few weeks ago because with the morticians around the country, because I was talking about death and the fact that we tell children that grandfather has just gone away and he is sleeping and so forth, rather than telling children exactly what does happen and about the high cost of funerals and the pomp that goes with it, and they kind of got on me.
But you know, the fear of death is gone when a person, when I found Christ as my Lord and my Savior, the fear of death was taken away, and now I'm just as certain that when I die, that I'm going into another world that's just as real as this one, that it's helped me to face life here and now.
That was my question. What do you envision after
That's
death?
right. Well, I envision heaven. And I'm not going there because I've preached to a lot of people. I'm not going there because I've read the Bible. I'm not going there because I'm good. I'm going there because of what Christ did for me on the cross. I'm saved by the grace of God. Now, the word grace carries with it the idea that I don't deserve it. I can't buy my way. I can't work my way. I'm a sinner, just like you, and just like Ed.
And you folks. Excuse me for interrupting. It's terrible. I hate to stop when we're just starting here, but please stay with us. And As soon as we get this out of the way, we'll come back and continue. And now a word from Doc about the American Motors Gremlin. Welcome back. We're talking with Billy Graham. Well, you were right in the midst of talking about when people die, rather than use the euphemism passing away or gone to your just reward. The correct word is die. So you have no fear because you've accepted, you said Christ is your Savior, and you have absolutely no fear. But when you said, and I think it may sound like a childish question, but I think even adults ask themselves, you envision life somewhat as it is here on earth, and that's very difficult for the average person to visualize at all.
I think that's the only thing, the only point of reference really that we have to go by is on earth, because we don't know. The Bible teaches that we are going to have a body, and it's going to be a body like that of Christ. The Bible teaches that the ultimate goal of the true believer is going to be a place called heaven or paradise. It's not going to be a place where we sit under palm trees and have a beautiful girl fan us, as some people envision heaven. It's going to be a place where we work. And I think that we are going to be able to go from planet to planet and from one part of the universe to the other, and I think we're going to be able to go as fast as thought. And I think we're going to have other worlds to conquer. We're going to have tremendous enterprises that we're going to do on other planets. And I think there are many indications in the Bible about this. We're not going to go and just sit down and rest and relax. Now, the first few years, I'd like to rest a while and play a little golf.
Sure.
And I hope they have golf balls and
they have
the
a
whole
great
thing
course.
up there.
They have a great course.
Because I'll miss it if we don't. But I asked my wife one day, who's a great student of the Bible, I said, Ruth, do you think there's going to be golf in heaven? She gave a marvelous reply. She said, if golf is important for your happiness, it'll be there.
Can't argue with that. Do you also envision, for the sinner that, say, doesn't accept in the Christian religion Christ as your Savior, that there is purgatory, per se? Do you think there's that kind of a God that would condemn or damn people? But when children grow up, you know, they are told this very often. You be good, you go to heaven. And that's the child's concept of heaven, is sitting around on a cloud. Mm-hmm. If you are bad, you will be punished. And that's kind of a frightening concept for a young mind to grab a hold of.
It is frightening, and it should be. I think that the Bible says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And we have a false concept of God. God is a God of holiness. He's a God of righteousness. He's a God of judgment. And a person who faces Christ straight out and deliberately rejects him, that person is in a totally different category than the person in the middle of China that never had a chance and never heard. The person who deliberately rejects is going to pay a fearful price. Now, Jesus used a number of words to describe it. So does the Old Testament. The prophets used it. It's called punishment. It's called condemnation. It's called Hades. It's called all sorts of things. Whatever it is, and I'm not prepared to say what it is, but what it is, it's separation from God, and that in itself will be hell. Because you take in this life, if you live this life totally separated from God, from all love and all joy and all peace and all satisfaction, that would be hell in this world. So in a sense, the person who doesn't know God here is already, in a sense, in hell. Mm-hmm. And that will be extended into the future life, according to the Bible. And I think it is something to contemplate. I think that we're taught that fear is very important. I teach my children that to watch out for rattlesnakes, because we have a lot where I live. I teach them to be careful in traffic. My son flies an airplane. I always say, be careful when you go up there. I want him to have a certain amount of tension and fear as he's flying, mm-hmm. so that he doesn't have a wreck and kill himself. And there is a legitimate fear, and I think we should face squarely who God is and what he demands of us.
Do you feel sorry for people who espouse the atheistic philosophy and live their life and say, all right, I'm not rejecting God, they just live their life as if God does not exist, and they go their way and do their thing?
Well, I would, 99% of the American people say they believe in God, mm-hmm. according to the Catholic Digest. But there are millions of what I would call practical atheists. They say with their mind they believe in God. Something inside says, well, there must be a God, but they live as though there is no God. Mm-hmm. And so in a sense, that is a form of atheism. And to those people, I think that's a very dangerous life.
Yeah. Can I ask you a personal question now? And I'm not asking this as a shock value, because I'm sure as someone who goes all around the world, you're from that. Have you ever seen an X-rated movie? I don't mean that to put you on the spot, but it's so much in the news, and it has so much to do, a lot of people think, with morality or a lessening of morality in the country. And I just wondered, as somebody who preaches the gospel in your line of work, that you would have to see it to be able to be informed.
Well, I have seen several R-rated movies. I saw 2 in a hotel where you call down and order room service, and they turn it on your television screen.
I didn't know that.
And I went to see. I saw one with my son in London. He wanted to see one that he said was a marvelous picture about motorcycles, and it was called The Mechanic. I found out that it had nothing to do with motorcycles. And it was AAA rated in London. It was supposed to be excellent, but they killed people in every way possible. I think that you can kill, and people died in every way possible you can die. And the the R-rated in this country, I think, would come from the violence rather than sex. There was no sex in the picture.
Right. Would you say?
No, I don't make it a practice to go see.
Oh, I didn't mean it that way. I think what I was trying to draw, do you think that, say, a young person, and using, say, the word normal, I'm not talking about the average young person, would be more adversely affected by exposure to an explicit sexual film than he would to excessive violence in a film where, as you say, that there is killing and murder and garrotings and so forth for no rhyme or reason? Which of those do you think would affect him or harm him the most? Do you think?
I think both would harm him. I think that I wouldn't be prepared to say which would be the worst. I think the violence that we're seeing in some of our pictures today is having a devastating effect on people. It can't help but have it. I think that we're seeing it in the generation that we're growing up in today. This is the first generation that is a television-reared generation. Now, this is not against television. Right. I'm for television. I use television. It's the greatest means of communication we've ever had. But just like atomic energy, you can use it for good or you can use it for bad. And I think that a great deal of what we see today, especially in the motion pictures, they're trying to get more pornographic and more violent to attract people back to the theater. But I think that we have seen in Sound of Music or the Walt Disney films that you can make great motion pictures and make a lot of money and be clean. And I think that there is a swing back in that direction. I was reading the other day, I think it was Frances Langford or some former film star who said that she wasn't going back to see any motion pictures till they cleaned up. And I think that when we say clean up, we think in terms of sex, but I say in terms of violence. Right. The violence, I think, is helping to create a great deal of the violence in our society. And I would like to see some good, clean, honest, great motion pictures like we used to have.
Yeah, maybe it'll come about. I hope.
You know, if you want to see a good movie now, you have to wait and see something on the Late Show maybe, and see something that was made about 25 or 30 years ago.
They're all playing too. What's the most often single question you're asked?
I suppose that the one that I would be asked the most is, how do I find God? I think that more people write me or ask me that question than any other question. I would say the greatest problem people write me about is loneliness. I think loneliness is probably the greatest problem in America as far as the psychological problem that people face.
From both young and old?
From both young and old. You can be lonely in a crowd, and psychologists have begun to call it cosmic loneliness. In other words, I can be in a party, having a big time, and all of a sudden, for just a moment or two, there sweeps over me a sense of loneliness. And I personally believe this is a loneliness for God. We're made for God, and without God, we have a loneliness. There's a dissatisfaction, and we never find it, no matter how powerful or how rich or what pleasures we have. There's something empty there that only God can fill.
You were just telling me during a break your schedule coming up, which is incredible. You leave tomorrow, I believe, for Atlanta?
Yes, I'm going to Atlanta, and we open in Atlanta next Monday night in the Atlanta Stadium where the Falcons and the Braves play, and we'll be there for a week. And then I go to Minneapolis for a crusade in the fairgrounds, and then I go to Israel and to Jordan, and then to London for a crusade in August, and then in September in the University area of North Carolina in the stadium, and then to St. Louis, and so on and so on.
That's fantastic. Well, I hope between one of those trips you will drop by and see us again.
And sometime we'd like to have you and Ed come to one of our crusades.
We could probably use it, Billy. Badly. Get us before it's too late. Thanks for being here.